I think our focus in this is you want the fast veg time with the banger results.
100%.
You know, and that's where then you may look at, I think the fastest would be the Sea of Green method, like I touched on briefly.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Clone and toss. Like essentially we're doing, my roots are established, we're going into flower. You know, like it's that crazy where if you get 28 grams per plant, you're going to be pretty happy. You know what I'm saying? I had one where I got like 7 grams on, it was all different genetics, like 7 grams on one, 56 on another, 20 on another. But overall, I got over a pound with one light. I was like, oh, all right, this shows something. My cost at the time, we were in caregiver days, so my cost was lower than it's ever been. But because I grew a bunch of different genetics, the ones I liked the best were the ones that grew like 7 grams and 3 grams. So I had all this, like, it was like, well, I got way more of this, but not enough of this, and this isn't a whole ounce here. But in that case, if you're doing all like a monocrop, the same cultivar, you can really crush it, and you could bypass your veg like crazy.
Super, super quick with the Sea of Green method. I mean, I've seen one where it was a bunch of different solo cups. And with the textbook Sea of Green method, right, just to clarify, it's just one branch coming up. That plant doesn't have any side branching. Really, that's kind of getting stripped off. And so it's just one cola coming up and just a bunch of different of those just side by side. And most of the time, you're trying to fill up that whole grow space. Right, so you've got all these individual colas super close together, and you can fetch for a very short period of time, and then flip to flower fast, and that's arguably the fastest
That might
one.
be the hack,
Now the plant is going to spend some time in veg regardless of the light cycle, right? So if you have a photoperiod plant, it sprouts on the medium, you immediately put that on a 12-12 light cycle, it's still going to veg. You're not going to see any pistils, any start of flowering. For the earliest I've ever seen is 21 days is when I first started seeing pistils. So, and that's putting a seedling directly on a 12-12 light cycle. So it is going to spend some time there. So, you could literally just have, 21 days and you're starting to flower, and 8 weeks later, you can do an 8-week cultivar and you're harvesting at that point. So you could do a super, super fast veg time with the Sea of Green method.
I think that's a great hack for a lot of people, but then how you're feeding it is way different compared to the let's say even the screen of green, the scrog versus the sog. Sea of Green, oftentimes you'll see flood tables or drain to waste method, going because it's easier to maintain in automation. I've never seen a plant bed, which that now looking at it, thinking that may be the best idea, but then is it because the plant needs so many square feet in between for food? Because it's the battery, so to speak. So now you're going to have to amend more, and you're going to have less room to amend because you have all these stems coming out versus one central that works its way into a giant canopy. So it's like maybe the easiest way to go about it would be hydroponics, and it's just the flood table, and you're running it that way. But you have to be on it a lot more, and automation may be the way to do it versus having individual plants that you can cater to and veg like that.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that if you are doing the Sea of Green method, it would be a hassle if you hand watered each one individually.
Yeah, horrible.
So a lot of people use with a flood tray, one of those trays that you can stick within your grow tent or whatever, and then flood and drain system is usually what people have it hooked up to, is just making it all automated there, and that's huge help labor wise, reduction in the amount of labor, and dialing that watering as well.
This FTS clip was brought to you by AC Infinity, leaders in garden innovation. Use discount code TheStash15 at checkout to save some money on your order.
From the Stash Podcast.